Hello, students, and welcome to NUR 315, Nursing Research and Application to Practice. My name is Dr. Alidia Munoz-Rascon, and I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the course, kind of an introduction here. We know that sometimes when you are looking at your course schedule, some courses seem really obvious what you're going to learn about, and we've heard a lot in the past that students don't really know what to expect for this course. So hopefully this helps set the stage and can help answer some burning questions for you. Obviously, we'll be doing some review of what to expect in the course in our first day of class, but this might help you kind of mentally prepare as well. So as you can see on our homepage here, you'll have 7 modules in this course. Some of them will only last a week, some will last a few weeks, but we'll really be starting off with where are we headed, what is nursing research, and how also do you write as a scholarly nurse, and how do you write effectively using APA format. So that's our first week of class. We'll then jump into what quantitative research is and then follow that with an introduction to qualitative research. So we start off with what is research, and then we spend basically one module investigating one type of research and another module investigating another type of research. And this is really just so you can kind of understand what is nursing research, how can it vary, what are the different types and flavors and different ways that it can look. And then after these first 3 modules, you'll kind of step into what you're interested in. So in module 4, we do something called the PICO question. And this PICO question is basically a question that you are going to create that helps you pin down something that you're really interested in and will help you search for nursing research that's available out there to help you answer that question. So thinking about something that you're really passionate about and how you would craft that question. Now, we'll look at the course schedule here in a second, but you might think, well, I just create a question. How hard can that be? You actually get quite a bit of time. You can see here weeks 4 through 8 are spent on this to create this question and also find nursing research to help you answer that question. This module 4 really creates the foundation for the following 3 modules in the course, because your question and the articles you find will really guide the rest of the course for you. So after you've created that question and you've found some nursing research to help you answer that question, then you're going to start to look at those articles or that nursing research that you found, and you're going to write papers about those. So you're going to be talking about one of your articles that you found, and you're going to do what's called a critical appraisal. So you're going to read that study and you're going to analyze that study and basically tell us, is it a good study? Is it a not so good study? Are there certain parts that are good? Are there certain parts that aren't so good? And you're going to be telling us about basically how it applies to your PICO question. So you'll do that in module 5 for your quantitative study that you find. And then in module 6, you'll do that for your qualitative study. And then we'll end the course with learning about where have we been, what have you learned, and what can we find out about dissemination of nursing research, which we'll get into, as well as learning about some local nurse scientists and what they're doing. So hopefully this kind of helps you see where you're headed. It will go by quickly, but you will be writing 3 papers in this course. Your first paper will come at the end of module 4, where you're basically telling us about how you created that PICO question and how you found those articles to help you answer that PICO question. Your second paper will be this appraisal of the first article that you found that we talked about here. And then the third paper and the final paper will be your appraisal of that second article that you found, the qualitative study. So you only have 3 papers. They are mostly in the second half of the course. In the first half of the course, you're going to be doing a lot of quizzes, a lot of review of specific concepts in the course to really build that foundation. So if we go to course information, you'll see the course syllabus as well as the course schedule. Just be aware that the course schedule is in the course syllabus, but if you're just, okay, I read the syllabus, I just want to know what's due next week, you can always click on the course schedule. But if we look at the course syllabus, you'll see that we have a lot of the information that you're used to seeing in course syllabi. Make sure you take a look at these, where you're going to be headed, what you can expect to learn in the course, our outline for the course, and then you'll see the course schedule as well. So you'll notice early on, this stuff in blue, these are in-class activities as well as quizzes. You'll have quite a few quizzes early on, and this is just to make sure you're really understanding what is research, what is quantitative research, what is qualitative research. These are not quizzes to just buzz through really fast and move on, because understanding this information is going to be shining through in your papers that you write later on. And then down here, weeks 4, 5, and 6 is that question we were talking about. You're going to be developing this question. You'll submit just a draft of the question the first week. The next week, you'll submit an updated draft of the question plus some ideas for those articles that you're supposed to be finding. And then the last week, the actual final question will be due, as well as the 2 articles, your final 2 articles. You'll be doing some online modules. So you'll see here in week 7, you don't come to class at all. You do an online module to learn about how do you really analyze these quantitative studies. And then your paper is due, your first paper is due in that first week of March. And you'll notice that you don't actually have to come to class this week because we understand that it takes time to write a paper. However, we will be in class to answer questions that you have about how you might be describing things or issues that you're having. You can just come to class and put your headphones on and work on your paper. That's fine. But it is completely optional to come to class or not. We recommend, if you struggle with writing, or if you feel like this content just isn't sticking for you, or you're concerned about maybe an area of the rubric that's a little fuzzy for you, definitely come to class. This is our time to really help you. And then of course we have spring break, very important. And then we come back and we start to look at appraisal of research. So you've written that first paper on what's your topic, what was that PICO question that you created, and what is the significance of your topic. And now we're really going to zoom in on your first article that you found. So in week 9, you'll actually bring that article to class and we'll learn about how to appraise it. The following week, you'll do what's called an ethical module, where you learn about what are the ethics of research and what are some issues that have arisen in the past. Then you'll actually get a certification here. The following week, your appraisal of that first study is due. So again, you'll see kind of a pattern here where you don't have to come to class, but we are available to answer questions for you. Just note, for these writing workshops that we have, you cannot bring a draft of your paper and we will not grade your paper there. That's frankly not possible for us to do for all students in the class, and that's not really the purpose. It's to answer very specific questions that you might have or issues that you've faced. So moving along, you get another week out of seat while you work on a critical appraisal module for a certification on appraisal of qualitative studies. And then we follow the pattern again, where you bring your other article in, we do an in-class exercise on how do you appraise that article, and then your paper is due, that is your reflecting your appraisal of that qualitative study. Again, no required class, in-class writing workshop, ask questions if you need to. And then we've got our last week of class, where we'll have a nurse scientist come and visit us. You'll have an assignment where you just post a question to our nurse scientist before class. And then in our very last class, you'll be presenting everything that you've been doing in the class to a small group of peers. So hopefully this kind of gives you a breakdown. We start off with a foundation, and then we really jump into critically appraising specific nursing studies that you have found. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, remember we always have that discussion board, the hallway conversations, and then any of the papers that are due, we'll actually have discussion boards for each of those papers. So we'll have an EBP1 discussion board, an EBP2 discussion board. For now, we just have our hallway conversations, but other discussion boards will pop up as those papers become relevant and you might have questions. So we wish you luck in this course. We're so excited to have you and to jump into nursing research.